kick this super interesting and happy meeting for us. So I'm Eric Desaulniers, I'm the CEO of Nouveau Monde Graphite and founder. So thank you all to be there today and be there to understand a bit more what we are announcing and what it represents for the company and what we will do. So today to actually allow everyone to have a bit, to grasp a little bit what is our team, because it's all about the team in Nouveau Monde Graphite, and that's my main job, is to find the right team. I've invited our VPs on the Matawinie project, but before I introduce all of them, I propose I introduce our partners since 2 years, our newly elected chairman since August 27th last year. So it's been 2 fantastic years for in our relationship, and I truly want to express my gratitude for our partner at Palingers, including Arne Frandsen, our chairman and the founder of Palingers. Any CEO who's surrounded by such experience and expertise are really, you know, that's what you need to do as a CEO, to surround yourself with the right people. And I think our partner Arne is a great example. So maybe Arne, you can say a few words for the group before we kick this meeting.
Sure. Merci beaucoup, Eric. C'est vraiment une chose très spéciale aujourd'hui et ton étape importante pour toute l'équipe de Nouveau Monde, comme tu dis, Eric. Quelque chose sur lequel nous travaillons depuis 10 ans. Bravo et merci à tous. Ladies and gentlemen and friends and fellow investors, thank you so much for being with us today. It is truly a very important day. When Palingers decided to invest into battery-grade graphite 4 years ago, we undertook a global search looking at all major graphite players throughout the world. We conducted due diligence on 10 of those, and after 2 years, we put our firm focus on Nouveau Monde. Following the first meetings with Eric in London and subsequently in Quebec, Palingers did a further 6 months of detailed due diligence on the project and its management team led by Eric and Charles. Based on Palingers' analysis, we firmly believe that Nouveau Monde is world-class and unique in respect of quality, size, low environmental impact, and the fact that we are benefiting from the exclusive use of zero-carbon hydroelectricity, as well as a fully integrated business model, which allows the company to position itself as the world's most valuable and most attractive anode material company. Management, as you know, is likewise best of class and has all the relevant experience and drive for success. We as Palingers are private equity investors, so we are totally aligned with all the other shareholders with a full and single-minded on unlocking value. And the team that we have that you see on the screen here today is a big part of the ability to unlock value. After 2 years of involvement, and as the company's chairman, I am proud to be part of this winning team and taking Nouveau Monde to new heights and firmly putting Quebec on the map as the most investor-friendly jurisdiction and location for battery materials production. I do not want to steal the thunder from Eric and his team, so let me close by saying that it has truly been an exciting journey, and whilst it has been that for the past 2 years, please remember that this is only the beginning. Eric, over to you.
Super, thank you very much, Arne, and thank you for the French. Et pour ceux qui parlent français, nous pourrons prendre les questions à la fin.
Désolé, c'est pas... Okay, it's okay.
It was perfect. I was truly happy to hear that. So, but the presentation will be in English, just to make sure all our friends in the US and in the world can fully understand all our team. So thank you for the congrats, Arne. I think this is just the beginning. You're totally right. Now the work is just starting. But before we get to the team, I want to congratulate specifically. My only job in Nouveau Monde is probably to hire the best team possible. For the decrease specifically, I think there's 2 persons who work tremendous amount of hours, and it's Frédéric Gauthier and Martine Paradis. So you two guys, I think you deserve much more congrats than anyone else in the company and in the team. So congrats, and thank you very much for all your dedication to make this happening. So I think Fred is working on it since 2014 and Martine since 2018. So thank you very much. So now that the congrats are behind us, let's get to work. So I would like to introduce Sylvain Descombes as well. Sylvain is our VP Matawinie project. His main expertise is in construction. So he will talk during the presentation after my 15-minute start. And also Alain Dorval is our VP Process and Metallurgy. I think around 30 years experience, Alain, built few projects already. Great, even more.
36.
36. Yeah, okay, great. And Martine is our VP Engineering and Environment. We'll talk more about specifically the environment on the project. So what I propose to you all is that I will start with 15 minutes explaining our business model for the people that are new to our company, what we want to achieve, what it means for us. Then the market opportunity, obviously, and then I will hand over to the technical team. We'll take 15-20 minutes explaining in deep details our project, and we'll conclude with just corporate structure and a few last slides before having the Q&A. So that's what I propose for the agenda. So let's start. So Nouveau Monde Graphite, it is two main projects. First is the one we're talking today. It's an open pit mine, all electric, the Matawinie project, the one we just received the decree. And that's where we produce the flake concentrate. It's the largest graphite operation projected in the Western world. And then we do the second transformation in Bécancour, where we are also in construction. And the goal is to develop a fully vertically integrated business model from the ore to the battery customer, the lithium-ion battery customer. And we're developing this carbon neutral. We have a commitment to make it a carbon neutral product entirely powered by hydropower. So obviously it's a circular economy for us. We start with the mine and we transform it. We sell to the battery makers, but we have developed an all-electric concept that is good for environment, but also very good for the local community who benefit of that new expertise that they can export. And also we have a very strict governance in place in Nouveau Monde Graphite. For us, we are at the forefront of mining investment for ESG funds. It is requested by our customer when we talk with the largest OEM of the planet. So for us, it is super important to develop a project that complies with the highest rules of ESG. So today, specifically in our circular economy, we'll talk about the all-electric mine and the flake concentrator. Where we are located in Quebec. So some of you recognize the Montreal Island with the St. Lawrence River. So our project is located 2 hours drive north of Montreal in Saint-Michel-des-Saints. And the transformation is made 2 hours northeast of Montreal in Bécancour between Montreal and Quebec City. So today, again, we'll talk about the mine and the concentrator. And this is overlook how much important it is to develop a fully vertically integrated business model with the infrastructure in place. And that's a big advantage of our project, is to be located in Quebec, a safe jurisdiction, but also with all the infrastructure and the expertise to develop those projects. So we are working toward the full supply chain. So today we'll talk about the mine project. The value of the flake graphite roughly is $1,532. That's in our feasibility study. We are working toward getting into the coated spherical graphite business. That's what we're working on in Bécancour. But today we'll focus on what we will do in Saint-Michel-des-Saints and the economics of this specific project. Something that is overlooked is how much effort is needed to develop, to get the decree. I mean, to get an authorization to mine a project in Quebec, in the Western world, it is not an easy thing, and that's how it should be. You know, when you take the responsibility to mine a non-renewable resource like graphite, you need to do it right with the highest standard of sustainability. So we discovered a deposit in 2015, and we exchanges over 10,000 pages since 2016 with a baseline environmental study, the feasibility study, and now the impact study finally filed with the government in 2019. We have all the community engagement in place. We have made a public audience that earlier in 2020. I mean, it's a long process. That's why we can say today we have made rigorously all the steps to make it happen. And it's really positioning us in terms of timing to be in 2023 in production. Before anyone else, because this is a long time, and sometimes it's not understood perfectly by the customers and by sometimes the investor that are not used to mining. But mining takes time, and we are perfectly timed. And what we have received today is very significant. It means that one of the most knowledgeable mining jurisdictions in the world, Quebec, authorized our project. They consider that we have made the best project in terms of sustainability. So where we are today, about 30% of detail engineering completed. So we will revise the budget and make the proper based on today's date. We know exactly what we need to achieve in the next few years to deliver this project in 2023. So before I hand over to the technical team, just quickly the market opportunity and what it means having a fully vertically integrated business model in the Western world. So no news for most of you on the line about the EV revolution that is happening today. And in number, what it represents in numbers, it's about 3 terawatt hour of battery capacity that is getting built with roughly 180 mega factory that are getting built in the world now, which is a huge number. It was only 1 mega factory in 2014 with Tesla in Nevada. Now it's 180. And now Tesla announced last fall that they want to have themselves another 3 terawatt hour by 2030. So, I mean, the market is there for sure. What it means for graphite, graphite is about 1.2 kilogram of graphite per kilowatt hour in a battery. So in a Tesla, actually, if it's 100 kilowatt hour, it's about 120 kilogram of graphite per battery. So it's quite significant. And there's a lot of new technologies every week, but the reality is those 180 mega factory, 100% of them use graphite in the anode. So you can change the cathode, and we see companies like Tesla diversifying their procurement for the cathode material. They start to have some LFP cathode material in China, for instance, but the reality is all graphite in the anode, and that's quite important. So now us as an advanced material supplier, there's a big opportunity that we need to deliver our project to make those plants and those that revolution happening. So what it means for all the raw materials, specifically graphite, it means by 2025, a little over a year after we'll be in full-scale production, like we need 2.8 million ton more of graphite. So we have the largest project at 100,000 ton a year, and that's the growth that is needed in the world to happen. So I mean, the growth is truly phenomenal. So where the graphite comes from today? So today the graphite comes from mainly China. 2/3 of the flake graphite comes from China, but 100% of the spherical graphite. Brazil, since a long time, is a big producer. And more recently, Africa is getting in the game. So now in Africa, there's also supply of flake graphite. And Canada, actually in Quebec, Imris Graphite and Carbon are operating since 30 years. It's soon depleted. It is announced to the local community. So Canada is the biggest, largest supplier of flake graphite since already 30 years, with 2% of the Western world. But we need to replace those depleted resources, and that's what Nouveau Monde is doing. So with our 100,000 ton, even though we don't consider the growth, we will represent only 10% of the global supply, but by far the largest supplier in Europe and North America. And all the experts at Benchmark Minerals and others agree to say that by 2023, there will be a massive supply deficit. And by 2023, for us, it is quite important in our timeline. So if you put the growth with all our announcement, so it means by mid-2023, when we'll start the commissioning on our project in Saint-Michel-des-Saints, and by 2024 in Bécancour, it's the perfect timing for us to take the market share and be there when the market really need it. And you know, if you talk a little bit about the customer in the Western world, what they are looking for today, 100% of their anode material comes from China. This is not acceptable. Like in the procurement book of those big OEMs, they cannot have a fully controlled supply chain like that in a jurisdiction in China. So they need to diversify. They need other supplier. And what we have to offer, it's not only cost parity. We have a very low cost project and we can have cost parity, but that's not what we offer. We offer more value to those customers by having a large scale, a meaningful scale for them, fully carbon neutral, fully traceable in a safe jurisdiction in Canada and Quebec, where we are very nice people. So I mean, this is very interesting for all the OEMs, and the more the months are playing in our favor. The months are passing, and this squeeze that is happening is really getting in our favor. Even at the Super Bowl last weekend, you start to see all OEMs putting their future into EV. So mine and concentrator, 2 slides before I hand over to the team. Matawinie project, the reason why we are here today, the specific project. So this is the economics coming from our 2018 feasibility study. The important point there, it's a long life project, 25 years and over mine life, 100,000 tons a year, largest graphite operation in the Western world, close to $1 billion US dollar NPV project with great economics thanks to our low cost structure. Low cost structure with a very good product. That's really the key of having the economics that you see there. And if you compare this economics with all other projects in the world who did a feasibility study, the advantage of Nouveau Monde Graphite, if everyone consider the same pricing assumption, so if everyone use the same price for the different products you can have in graphite, Nouveau Monde Matawinie project is the best EBITDA per ton. So low cost and a high value product make a very good EBITDA structure. So this is super important. It's great on paper, but the important point is how we will build this. And that's where we need a guy like Sylvain Descombes, who did that few times already in the last 20 years. And so please, Sylvain, explain to us how you will build this project in the next few years.
So hello, everyone. So Sylvain, I'm the Vice President for the mine and concentrator. So I will take the responsibility. I'm taking the responsibility of the construction of that project. So first, I will introduce you to the general layout of our project. So first, our project is really close to Saint-Michel-des-Saints. So it's about 6-7 kilometers from downtown Saint-Michel. So I don't know, Eric, if we can, I can get the control of the screen. Okay. So first, you
have the control, Sylvain?
Yeah, I got a control, but could you just highlight the laser beam, please?
I can do that for you. Laser beam. I think you will have only the mouse.
So, okay. You see that road is the main provincial road. They're going to Saint Michel. So it already exists a concrete batch plan at the entry of the access road. So it will simplify a lot the supply of all the concrete required for our project. So Could you just go next, Eric, please?
Okay.
I don't know why, but I'm not able to progress with the slide.
Okay. Now?
Okay. So one important portion of our project is the private access road that we have to build in 2021. So that road will link the provincial road to our facility. So then you will see also the power line that we're working on with Hydro-Québec. So all the power supply will come from Post Provo, close to Saint-Zénon. So we have to build a 14-kilometer power line, and the route of that power line is already defined with Hydro-Québec. So next, Eric. And then you will see the processing facility that we'll discuss later on. Next, also the battery limit, because the battery limit of the pit is really relevant. How we will have to integrate all components of our project, and you will see also the co-disposal area that we'll use to bring back all our tails, and as per a strict methodology that Martin will explain later on. And at the end, you will see the first mining phase where we will start our project. So the next slide is just to more describe in detail what we'll plan as a main component of infrastructure. So first, so Eric, just go next. So we'll have to build a main electrical substation to receive the power line from Hydro-Québec, and also ensure all protection required for the power network. We'll implement a crushing station to take care of all material coming from the mine. Then we'll have to generate a buffer zone of crusher material, because the mine will not operate in the same calendar than the concentrator. The mine will operate only on week days and 16 hours a day. So the concentrator will operate 24/7. So we'll have to have sufficient crusher material to supply the concentrator. Then you will see the nagtails dome that will use as buffer zone before sending back all the tails to the co-disposal area and the packed tail domes. Okay, so next you will see the positioning of the reveyor system that will introduce to transfer all the tails from the processing facility to the co-disposal area, and then the bag graphite area, and also the bulk graphite loading station. So just go up, Eric. And finally, the operation office. Okay, it just, we design all the project in a 3D model to make sure that we prevent clashes and so on, and we have enough space for operation and maintenance activities. So everything has been designed and integrated through BIM 360 solution. So it will give a better overview of the challenges that we'll have to face in the next month. So next, Eric. So as I said a few slides ago, so the first work will concern the construction of the access road to the processing facility. So we expect to start the work with the tree clearing portion in March, and then start the civil work from June to December this year. Okay, so that section of the work is on the critical part of the project today the engineering is completed. We have all quantities and so on. We went out for bids for the tree clearing. We request some budget quote for the civil work, and we are really well positioned today to award the contract. So for sure, with the issuance of the decree, it will let us to jump on the next step. So go on, Eric. Okay, about a processing facility. For sure, the processing facility is a little bit more complex than the access road itself. So we would like to progress in a fast manner in 2021 with the tree clearing, all the general site preparation work that composed with the topsoil removal, the earth mass, and all underground facilities or services. We would like also to implement all the paths related to construction trailers and lay down, and bring some temporary power to supply sufficient power during the construction period. Okay, we expect to be in a position to award some important contracts about civil works, concrete, the main electrical substation, and also the structural steel this year. So today the civil package, the technical package for go to bids, it's already completed. With the progress of the engineering, I cannot expect that we'll have so much challenges to go out for bids for the concrete and for the main electrical substation. We'll need maybe a little more work about the structural steel. So I try to a plan view of all WBS of our project to highlight what could be the best construction sequence. With the engineering team, with the support of SNC-Lavalin, we develop a full construction schedule in P6. So all the sequencing is already done. All activities are linked to each other. We just need to adjust the first date, who was the decree. So it will launch the complete, the issuance of the decree will launch the first date that we'll have to put in our project schedule to start to demonstrate some progress on the construction. So first, I'll go back, Eric, please. What is really important around a project is to go out from the ground. So we did a lot of geotechnical investigation during the previous studies, and also we did a extra geotechnical investigation last year to ensure that we have all the right knowledge level around the rock presence, and we can design the right concrete structure to support our building and also our main equipment. So we expect to start mainly the first concrete very early in 2022. We are still looking if we cannot push ahead some concrete activity to next fall, mainly around the NAG and the dome, the NAG and the pack dome. We can reuse those location as a storage for to support the construction, and also it will release a little bit of pressure on the concrete season, because it's not difficult. It's not easy to do concreting in winter condition in Quebec. So we'll go back, Eric, please. Just okay. So we will put the emphasis first on all the foundation supporting the building envelope. First, to be able to start the structural steel erection and the architectural work. So we want to target to close all the buildings by winter 2022-23 to be in a position to start the work of mechanical installation early in the spring 2023. So when the building will be closed, it will ease a little bit all the concreting for inside structure, and also ease the process to erect all the secondary steel support that we need to for process equipment. So we can go next, Eric. So from that point, the power line from Hydro-Québec will be delivered at the end of Q1 2023. Hydro-Québec expect to have completed all the commissioning of that power line for April 1st, so that Nouveau Monde can think that we can start the electrical commissioning shortly after the end of the commissioning of Hydro-Québec, to commission the main electrical substation and go on to A-rooms and also the remaining distribution on site. So all the electrical commissioning will start in Q2. That will allow to start the mechanical commissioning maybe in parallel at the beginning of Q3. So that will give the chance to Nouveau Monde to start the cold commissioning with all the motor bump early or at the end of Q2 or early in Q4 to start processing the first ore and start the ramp-up period in Q4. So I just put some slide to show you what will be the sequencing of the construction. So we'll start with the civil work. We'll start to put emphasis on the concrete structure. We'll work on the structural steel envelope to close all the building, and then we'll start to work inside and start the installation of all equipment. Okay, so I will pass the mic to Alain to just explain the process.
Thank you, Sylvain. My name is Alain Dorval. I'm a VP Process and Metallurgy. Very exciting moment today, so I'm very happy to be part of this presentation. I'm going to give you a bit of history about our process. We develop our process through with the help of a graphite expert through laboratory and pilot plant test work until the end of the feasibility study. In 2018, we started operating our demonstration plant in Saint-Michel-des-Saints, and where we learned a lot about all the operating parameters that affect the performance of our circuit, and then we modified through experimental design and continuous operation. So now we have a very mature process, I would say, that allows us to complete the process design criteria and continue the detail engineering. So with these 2 years of operation, we really de-risk the project, and we are ready to move on. So this morning, I'm going to go with you through the process, simplify the flow sheet, so you can know what it's all about. We're going to start with the combination circuit, and next slide, Eric, or pictures. Yes, you can add the other picture too. We're going to have 2 lines of crushing at a feed rate of 420 ton an hour. We have going to produce a coarse material, crushed material at a P80 varying between 106 and 136 millimeters. So 4 to 5 inch will be the feed of our SAG mill. Next slide. Next, yeah. As Sylvain was mentioning, we will operate the crusher 5 days a week 16 hours a day. So we need a stockpile to make sure we have enough capacity to operate the plant over the weekends. The stockpile, the ore stockpile, will have a capacity, total capacity of approximately 3 days of operation. Yes, and then we're going to feed our beneficiation plant at a rate of 325 tons an hour. We're going to feed the SAG mill. From the SAG mill, we'll feed the screens. Oversize of the screens will return to the SAG mill. Passing the screen will feed the ball mill pump box, then to the cyclone. From the cyclone on the flow, we will feed a flotation, flash flotation. Flash flotation step was installed between the cyclone and the ball mill to recover the coarse flakes of graphite. As many of you know or may know, that the coarser, the higher the value of our graphite. That's why we want to keep the integrity of our graphite flakes. So we remove we float the coarse graphite as soon as possible in our circuit. The tails of the flash flotation is going to the ball mill, so we're going to continue the liberation of the finer graphite. And the material will go back to the cyclone. The cyclone overflow is going to a scavenging step. So the two flotation step in this part of the beneficiation plant will produce a graphite concentrate having approximately 60% graphite. So we feed the SAG mill here at 4.2% graphite, and with these two steps, we increase it by 15 times up to 60% graphite. Next slide, please. Yes. So then the 60% graphite is going to the polishing and cleaning step. Basically, what we see in this area of the beneficiation plant is you see what looks like a ball mill at the back of the plant. Basically, it's what we call a polishing mill that includes very fine ceramic grinding media. We don't want to grind the ore at this stage. We just want to polish to get a better liberation that will help us improving the grade up to 97%. So I won't go through all the details in this area, which is pretty complex, but there are like polishing, attrition, various flotation step and classification that allow us to bring our material to 97%. Yes, next step. The material from that will be 97% will go to the thickener, concentrate thickener that is an indoor thickener. We will filter this material, and then in the filter cake will be 15% moisture. The material will be dry with this long horizontal drying kiln. You can add the other picture, please. And then the material after it's dry is pneumatically pumped to what you see over the silo here is our classification system. So we produce 4 classes of material of different size. We can also, you see some reservoir behind. This is for bulk material. So we have the opportunity to either bag our graphite or send it to bulk for different clients and different use. The other picture, please. Yes, here you see the bagging system. So now we have done the beneficiation of our graphite, but we need also, what do we do with the tailings? That's a very important of our mission, is to have a very good disposition of our tailings. So for this, we separate our tailings in two products. One that is acid generating and one that is non-acid generating. For this, we use two operation, flotation and magnetic separation. Basically, with the flotation and the magnetic separation, we will remove the sulfide minerals, which are in our case the pyrite and the pyrrhotite and pyrite. The pyrite, the sulfide concentrate is what we call the potentially acid generating material, while the tails of this operation is our non-acid generating material. You can add the picture, yeah. So basically, through thickening and filtration, we are going to produce filter cake that will also be 15% solid. In the picture here, you see 3 filters. 2 are for the nag and 1 for the PAG. There's approximately 70% of nag and 30% of PAG. Next picture. Next, yeah. Here you see the 2 stockpile. The smaller one is for the PAG, and the bigger one is for the nag. And you see that railwayer system will be used to direct these 2 tailings to the co-disposition area. I will, yes, next picture. I just want to go back to the demonstration plant. Here you have a picture of what it looks inside, and you see it's located in Saint-Michel-des-Saints. But basically, since 2018, we've been able to produce 525 tons, over 525 tons of high purity graphite that allowed us to have a pre-qualification and offtake agreement. So, and we have now such a solid process that is really de-risking the project. So I thought that for you investor, it would be very important or reassuring to know that we have a very strong and solid flow sheet, and that basically the demonstration plant was a very, very good investment that Nouveau Monde have made in 2018. So for this, I will let my colleague Martine to continue the presentation. Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you, Alain. That's a good introduction to my part. So I'm Martine Paradis, VP Engineering and Environment. Really happy to be here at this stage of the project, and I'm excited about the next steps. So, after the process, you will have the graphite, but you will also have the tailings that will come from the process area and will go in a tailing storage facility. So in all mine, we have to manage that. And at Nouveau Monde, we will manage that with the waste truck that will come from the open pit in the same area. So that's why we call it co-disposal stockpile. For our tailing, Alain just explained that we have 2 types of tailing. That is an important point in our project. We will have 30% that is potentially acid generator. So we will manage it to mitigate the effect that they could have. And the interesting about desulfurization is that we have 70% of our tailing that is low sulfur, that is non-acid generator, and we could use that in our co-disposal design that I will explain later. The other thing important, just there. It's our tailing will be filtered. We call it dry stacking in the industry. A dry stack, it's like it's recognized as the best practice in tailing management for many years, as the main environmental advantage is that we don't have any dams. So there's no risk of dam failure with that way of managing tailing. Okay, you could go next. So here we see the footprint of the project. So how we will do that, the co-disposal, in an operational point of view, it's only by using, go back, yeah, in an operational point of view, it will be just like using a best practice that we already use in other industrial mine, like backfilling or dry stacking, or using a different placement of different materials together. We will use some small cell where we will put the pack, the generator, acid generator tailing into the cell, and we will cover them with the non-acid generator tailing. That will protect the tailing from oxidation. Oxidation, it's a reaction that could start after many years. So when you manage it during the operation, you really decrease the environmental risk. And we will also cover the pile with the final cover as the footprint of the project will increase. That's what we see on the screen. So that way of managing tailings, it's to recreate the ecosystem during the life of mine. So it's integrating the environmental risk that could happen, understand that, and managing them from the start. So you avoid them. We will also have ditches around all the tailing facilities that will go to a collecting basin, where we will analyze the water and treat it with our water treatment. We will also collect the underground water coming into the open pit during the operation, and it will also goes with into the collection basin. And we will also have a lot of monitoring for underground water, for noise, and for dust out around the mine site. You could go next. Yeah, that's the next one will be it's our, okay, you could go next.
Next, okay.
Yeah, the next one, it's our experimental set of the co-disposal design, but just a way to see that we could study before the project start how we will place the material and how it will react. So we built the test cell this summer, and we have a lot of instruments inside the test cell, a lot of sensor, and we collect the data, and it's a way to optimize our deposition plan and to plan how we will place the material. And for now, all the results that we have are really good. So that's for my part.
Okay, great. So thank you very much. So there will be an exam at the end, I confirm. So good luck. Great, thank you very much. But I thought it was important to just show the investor the depth of work and the depth of knowledge needed to start a project like that. Maybe one last slide on the project itself. It's the resource. So, I mean, it's important to point out that currently in our reserve, we are using about half of our resource. So we only in the west zone. So if you see on the map in red, that's the mineralization in the west zone. Currently, we have over 120 million ton of ore, but we're using half of it. So we do have a potential for expansion. So now that we have received a decree, we know it's a long process. It's a lot of work. We are starting to work on an expansion that would be after the mines get into production and in the future for 2024, 2025 and further. This is important to cope with the growth that our customers are showing us. So I know probably my engineers now are looking at me, Jesus, Eric, you want to do it? He's laughing, but that's the reality. We're starting to work already on the growth. So share structure, So yesterday, actually, we're at 199. We're over 700 million market cap company. We are really well supported. That's super important. When you get into mining, you need to have supportive shareholder who understand what is the cycle of a mine life. We do have, as I said at the beginning, the Pallingers Group since 2 years. And I know the Pallingers Group on there for the long run, and that's super comforting to have a shareholder like that to build mine already, operated mine. And they are alongside Investissement Québec, the Quebec government, the Caisse de dépôt, and a lot of long-term supportive shareholder like Charles Armand Turpin, who's also invested recently another $1 million. So, I mean, this is great to have that team, that long-term shareholder who owns about 50% of the shares to move into the project financing in the future quarters, actually. So last slide. We're the most advanced graphite project in the Western world, very well timed for the growth. The largest scale producer in the Western world, I said, fully vertically integrated is super important for the customers. First, open pit, all electric, carbon neutral, a great alternative to the 100% control supply chain from China in the tier 1 jurisdiction with cheap hydropower and the right shareholder base. And we have de-risked this operation in the last few years to be ready for commercialization in the upcoming years. So that's about it. I'm ready for the Q&A.
All right, everyone. My name is Christina Lally. I'm Director of Investor Relations. And I just want to say to all of you on the line right now, congratulations. I mean, we're happy for the advancement of the project, but we're also very happy for our shareholders. So in the midst of the presentation, we did get several questions in. And so I will just begin and I'll point them to the person responsible who can answer the question. So for the first one, I think Sylvain, you could handle this. We're asking questions on labor force. So how many workers do you think will be needed for the project? Is there sufficient labor pool available? And is it local or is there a fly-in, fly-out type of scenario?
Thank you, Christina. So today with the prediction of the manpower curve that we did, we expect the peak will be just over 400 workers. So the peak is 425 to be precise. So that peak will be reached at the beginning of 2023, mainly when we bring on board all mechanical piping, electrical workers to support the installation. It will be the time also of our project that will be at cruising speed in terms of construction pace. So we think, okay, but we think, no, we are sure that the MRC of La Naudière can support with sufficient capacity of qualified workers because we are really close to Montreal. We also try to minimize and review all opportunities to bring in some modularization to try to reduce the impact of construction hour on site and to move them off site. As you say, with the COVID situation, nobody knows what could be the impact on the construction side of our project. So we want to be safe enough and try to prevent some impact on our project. With the COVID, we have to understand that the health and safety of all people involved in our project and also the community of Saint-Michel-des-Saints will be our top priority. So we'll do our best to bring in some extra solution to provide more flow to our project. So I hope it answered to your question. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sylvain. Martine, a question for you. The BAP published a long list of recommendations with its report that was deposited last June. Have we addressed most of these recommendations, if not all?
Yes, we addressed most of them. Main recommendation of the BAT report touched the land use reconciliation, the quality of life of surrounding communities, the water quality. It's touched also the property values and mining legacy after the project. All those aspects were included in our impact study, and we will continue to include them in our project. The main recommendation that brings a change at the project level right now is the radicalization of the access road that we're passing close to Domaine Lagrange. That is a place where people live close to the site. So we move it further, and we did Sylvain present the new access road relocation, and we did all we have to do like an addenda to our impact study to include that in our. We also, as I present, construct our experimental cell that was planned, but the BAP really insists to have this test cell construct.
Okay, thank you. Next question for Alain. You mentioned earlier we have been running a demo plant at Saint-Michel-des-Saints for the last 1.5 to 2 years. Can you speak a bit more to the lessons learned and the benefit of having that demo plant and to the mineral quality of our ore?
Yes, that's I touched base this a little bit during my presentation, but I think it's a very important question. And what we learned is that our ore is amenable to high purity concentrate over 97. We reach sometime 98 and more. We now are aware of all the factors that are influencing the quality of our concentrate, and this is mainly due to the great investment Nouveau Monde has made in the pilot plant, the demonstration plant. Investing in the demonstration plant guarantee a better understanding of all these parameters, and having this knowledge now will certainly help us reducing the ramp-up period to reach a full production. So that's what we learn, and if I may give an advice to any company who wants to develop a project with a type of mineral that is not well known, it's the way to go. You're de-risking your project, and it's the best investment people can do. And one important thing learned from this operation of the demonstration plant, do not underestimate the maintenance, because it's not because it's new and it's have been rebuilt equipment that you don't need maintenance. So you have to have maintenance people at the beginning. So this way you're going to move much faster in the learning of your ore. That's pretty much what I have to say about this question.
Okay, thank you. So some high-level questions, I suppose, back over to you, Eric. One, I suppose, at this point that seems quite obvious. What is the funding plan for the build-out of the project?
Yeah, maybe we can share this one, Arne. So I'll do the first part of the question. So obviously, we do have a very strong shareholder base. Now we do have the market cap justifying the investment to build the project. So as we mentioned, Sylvain and the rest of the team is working on finalizing what will be the exact budget and the cash flow needed, the cash in needed to build the project for the next years to come. We have discussion, obviously, with Palingers and other shareholder, and the interest is very strong. There's also a lot of interest from US-based funds. So, I mean, we will work toward completing the project financing in the next, I would say, 12 months. It will be in stage. It won't be all at the same time. So there's debt available, there's equity, and there's also other sort of instruments. But we do have the ability to do a very healthy structure, which is very important.
Okay, great.
Eric, should I add to that? Pallinghurst has been an investor for 2 years now, and we have participated in 5 equity contributions into the company. And Pallinghurst, typically when we invest in projects, we invest between $250 million and $1 billion. This project will fall within that range. For us, what is very important is that we are doing it bit for bit. I think Alain was very articulate in saying that how we build it up. I know some of the projects that Sylvain has built before, and they really stack up of some of the finest achievements within the industry. So we're very lucky to have Sylvain on board. Martine has kept everyone honest in the way of doing the de-risking around the environmental impact. And I think it is very important that people understand that we take it step for step, but in for a penny, in for a pound. We have started off this project, and the level of de-risking that has taken place over the last 2 years, I can't stress enough. A number of investors would not be willing to go in before we had the decree that we received today. And a lot of investors would have wanted further details, all the things that our team has produced. So I think what we have today is a very much de-risk world-class project that is set to become the largest producer of the one side of a battery. So if you believe in the EV revolution, I think my biggest challenge is going to be keeping all these knocks away from Eric's door and get us to focus on building the mine and the plant.
Okay, thank you, Arne. Thanks, Eric. Another question comes in the form of our relationship with local communities. Eric, can you speak to that?
Yeah, no, that's something that I'm the most proud about. You know, when we first discovered the deposit in 2015, actually, when I first explored the area, I remember it was, I think, April 2013, I was coming in with the helicopter. So I wanted to avoid people speculating what we do in the town. I think, Fred, that's where we hired you in 2014 at the time. So early in the project, we started to discuss with the local community in Saint-Michel-des-Saints, does it make sense for you if we discover a mine in your area, general area? So everyone wanted to know where the mine will be. But I don't know. We'll look for it. And we discovered it in 2015, actually, the deposit. We have other showings, but since day one, we were really there in transparent manner, explaining what we want to do, how it will look like, and trying our best to explain what is our vision. And if we had a local community that was refractory to it, it would have been very impossible, probably very difficult. But the mayor in Saint-Michel-des-Saints, Régent Gouin, and the whole council and all the actors in the area, we discuss all the time with them to better understand their worries, because, you know, they need to understand what we're doing. We're taking Mother Nature and we're using it to make a product. And people are really sentimental about the rock and about the ownership of the landscape and all that. So we took that very seriously. And I must say, the last few years, we did a lot of surveys to understand how the community is reacting to it. We did all the agreements with the local community in Saint-Michel-des-Saints. And we can say that we have the social license to operate in the local community. For me, it's obvious. For sure, it won't be 100% unanimous people happy that us developing a mining project, but our relationship is something that I'm super happy. And also with the First Nation. The First Nation is something very important in general in Canada. We need to better work with the First Nation on every project, and we take that very seriously. We did a framework agreement a few years ago. We did a pre-development agreement 2 years ago. Now we're negotiating with them to make the proper framework and the proper IBA, Impact and Benefit Agreement, with the First Nation. They are located about 80 kilometers north of our deposit. We need to make sure that they benefit as much as the local community of Saint-Michel-des-Saints to the project. And we will work hard in the next few months and years to make sure that they get the most out of it. There's a lot of program in place with them, training program. We hired some at Atskamek. We give contract to the Atskamek for the access road, for instance, and others. So both community, we have a dual community situation with same shell, the same local, but also the First Nation, and we're taking that very seriously.
Okay, thanks, Eric. A question that has come up in the Q&A and that I get often in speaking to investors, shareholders. Can you talk a bit about alternate battery technologies? You know, are we fearful when we hear about the advancement of solid state or any type of alternative technologies and what that means to us and maybe the future in the EV revolution?
Yeah, we could have been in 2010. You know, but if you realize the level of effort it needs to commercialize a new technology, you know, Tesla in 2014 decided, guys, there's no more place to look. The lithium-ion current chemistry is working perfectly. Just commercialize it. So we're in 2014 at the time, and it was too early for miners to get excited at that point. Like you saw the supply and demand we've showed you. By 2024, it's time to get excited about what Tesla started to commercialize, you know, in the mass production in 2014. Lithium-ion current chemistry exists since 1970. It was invented by John Goodenough. So people are saying now, John good enough. The technology is started, is good enough. Now, 100% of all the chemistry of lithium-ion that are getting commercialized are all using graphite. And there will be an obvious bottleneck on the raw materials. We just need to deliver for all those 180 megafactories. Yes, there are other investments because this great success of the current technology is making also shining other technology to get it to the next level. But those technology are worked on since decades. If you look solid state and silicon anode are probably the two most popular other technology. Both of them are technologies that the market is working on since over 20 years. But they were not able to replace it, and there's no plan that are using it commercially. So maybe 2030, they will make one plant that will use a different technology. And at the time, maybe the miners will get excited by 2035 of providing the raw materials for such new technology. But there's a great challenge that we need to focus on that is totally overlooked at this point in time is just delivering the graphite needed to make it happen now, just to make those Teslas and make those Ford and those GM now that is everyone's making an EV commitment now, and it will all be graphite for a long time.
Yeah, again, if I can just add in here a little bit as an investor in a number of different battery materials. I think it's do not underestimate how important it is to plan in advance. As Eric said, there was one gigafactory planned a decade ago. We now have 180. We're talking more than $1 trillion that is going to be invested into this. And it's a kind of way of saying that after you have made that decision, these gigafactories are being built. People are planning their next 30 models of Volkswagens to be electrical. To change that to fuel cells or change that to a different technology that you don't know how it reacts. Just remember, we are talking about batteries here. This is not something that I am afraid of. My biggest fear really is our potential lack of ability to deliver the raw materials, because the lack of raw materials could lead to that we will not get enough battery-driven EVs on the road. But as you all know, the best cure for lack of raw materials are higher prices. And that's where we are positioned.
Yeah.
Well said, Arne. Thank you very much. We've gone past our hour, and we like to respect everyone's time. So I'd like to say to all of you, I'm sure that many of you I speak to on a regular basis. Again, my name is Christina, Investor Relations. I remain available. You can email me or call me. My colleague Julie Paquette, who is Director of Corporate Communications, is also on the line. She will be available for anyone who wants to chat or plan an interview with Eric, perhaps, for some follow-up. But again, we thank you for your time. We're really happy, and I'm pretty sure that everyone online is happy today too. So I'll wish you a good day, and to the others on my team.
Thank you very much, Christina. And I think if everyone, I see there's a lot of more questions, so probably by writing we can answer those questions, Christina. Super. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks the whole team, and let's get to work now. We have a project to deliver. Super. Great.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.